YB stays on your neck.
Last week also, I'm sure you heard Dillian Whyte, the heavyweight. It seems he tested positive for a banned substance. Apparently, the opponent wasn't informed before the fight actually occurred. What were your thoughts on that?
M- My thoughts on that is everybody else's thoughts on it. You know what I mean? There's like, somebody, my friends would always say, heads are gonna roll, heads are gonna roll. It's like somebody knows something, somebody did something wrong, somebody did, whatever they're saying, something's gonna happen. We need to find out what it is. And when you say people weren't informed, it's like, yo, obviously they weren't watching what's been happening over the last couple of weekends with fighters. Somebody's not thinking, somebody's doing the wrong thing and making the wrong decisions, and heads are gonna roll. That's all I have to say. Because
Hope so.
because out of all of this, the truth will come out. It has to come out because there's too many people wanting to know what's happening. Like, what's going on? Was it true? The fighter wasn't informed? Did he take something? Did this commission know? Did this, all these different things, questions are out there. Too much. There's too much questions.
Yeah.
So what I do is I just sit back. and just, all the information sent to me. So I just kind of like, read it.
No. Now, there was also apparently a glove switch where I think right before the fight was about to start, about 15 minutes before, Dillian Whyte he wore different pair of gloves than what was inspected by his opponent, Oscar Rivas. And Team Rivas wasn't allowed to inspect the gloves before the new pair of gloves before the fight started.
This new thing with the gloves, that's all these things happen when you're a big time promoter and you've got a lot of money and a lot of money to throw around. So this is what happens. And I don't want to really say too much on it.
Oh,
right.
Heads will roll.
Yo, my dons, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So we just heard there from Lennox Lewis. However, on this occasion, he was not overly enjoying himself, hating on Anthony Joshua. He was actually shedding light on the Dillian, aka Pillion, Whyte situation. So let's take it from the top. First of all, he addresses the Pillion accusations, or the main topic. There's two topics, the gloves and the PED situation. So he addresses the PEDs first off, and he says he's thinking the same as everyone else. Heads are gonna roll. There's too much speculation. From Lennox Lewis is an insider. He's been around the sport. However, I will say he's been around the sport at a time when PED testing didn't even exist. It was a big free-for-all. Listen, if you want to know how much a free-for-all the 80s and 90s and early 2000s was, ask Lance Armstrong. Ask, more importantly, or more specifically to boxing, ask Evander 175er to 230 pounder Holyfield. Ask Evander Traps Holyfield. Ask Evander Juiced 50 pounds Holyfield. How easy. Steroids and all that business. There was no regulation, there was no testing going on back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, not even a bit of it. Yeah, the minute you've got 175ers going up to full-fledged big heavyweights, you know there's an issue going on there. You know there's something fishy. Simple. Anyway, so bear that in mind. Lennox Lewis doesn't realise how times have changed in that sense. Meaning, he's saying, oh yeah, well, it's all going to come out in the news. I wouldn't be so sure. Because the Fury stuff, as I keep saying, did the Fury stuff come out? Was that a big deal? Yes, we heard about the ultimate result, i.e. the back paid 2-year ban, but none of us none the wiser. Did he have Naranjarone? Did this, did that? Who knows? I haven't got a clue. And that's the problem with UCAD, I think it is. UCAD are a weird organisation. VADA are a proper organisation. They call a spade a spade. You've got that. Look at Jerome Miller. Look how perfect that Jerome Miller situation played out. He popped. He denied it, talking about a conspiracy. He popped again, and he put his hands up because he got exposed. Yeah? Imagine if the Jerome Miller situation was under wraps. He'd have been able to come out. No one would have known squat. No one would have known anything about it. No one would have known squat about it, and then he can all be left to speculation. After he serves his ban, he can come back and say, "Oh well, I was only taking a recreational drug because it's my confidential private information." No, if you cheat, because you've got to remember, these sports people, they perform in public. They take public money, yeah? So with that in mind, if you're taking public funds, if you're in a public sport, when you take steroids also in public, when you perform to the public on steroids, it should be the public's information. Does that make sense? If you're going to cheat in public, it should be exposed in public. How can it be the case that, oh well, if you cheat, we're going to keep it all hush-hush because it's your private information? If you want to be private, don't become a public boxer. Don't be collecting pay-per-view money. Don't be collecting ticket sales. Stay private, and then you don't worry, no problem. The average Joe, who no one knows, who doesn't collect public money, who doesn't collect pay-per-view money, who doesn't collect ticket money, I 100% back their medical record being private. But don't be cheating on a public stage and then be crying about, oh, my private information's been divulged. Well, you should have thought about that before you started collecting the pay-per-views. Because you weren't complaining about the public knowing about your event then, were you? When you were selling all them pay-per-views, no one was complaining about the public knowing. You were quite happy for the public to know your event was on. You were quite happy for the public to buy into your event. So you should be quite happy for the public to speculate when you popped or you've been found out, you've been caught slipping. Simple as that. But as I was saying about Lennox Lewis, on a positive note, does he know more than the YB? Absolutely. He's an insider. He's been in the sport of boxing. So I'm optimistic. He seems quite optimistic. He thinks we're going to find out. I'm not so sure, as I keep saying. I'm a pessimist when it comes to this sort of thing, when it comes to UCAD. And Lennox Lewis, he's been based in the US, which is mainly VADA. So he's probably used to everything being exposed. He's probably naively thinking about Jerome Miller and how it all got exposed there. He's not realising we're dealing with UCAD. UCAD don't do squat. Look how many times we've heard from Eddie Hearn over the last few days. Oh yeah, I'd love to say more, but lawyers, I'd love to say more, but UCAD, I'd love to say more. When people say it, they'd have to say more, that means nothing's going to be said. Because, I don't get it, if you can't say it now, when are you ever going to be able to say it? The same as Dillian Whyte with the WBC situation. Do you remember that? He was saying, I can't say anything because it's an open case. Has he said anything since? No. He keeps it quiet. In fact, I remember his last response, even though the WBC case is over now, his response to that, he said, oh well, it's all over now, so I'm just going to leave it there. It's all in the past now. So that's what will happen. This will be resolved or whatever, and he'll come out and say, oh well, it's all in the past now, whatever. That's what I think is going to happen, but I'll be pleasantly surprised. And let me put this out there as well. I say it more or less every video, but I think it's important to do. I absolutely want Dillian Whyte to be clean. I want Dillian Whyte to be truthful, and I want Dillian Whyte to be clean in an ideal world. If I could make anything happen now, it would be for Dillian Whyte to be clean and for Dillian Whyte to be honest and cleared. That's in my ideal situation. If I was writing my own Disney story, that would be it. Yeah, let's say everyone's on a straight path. Everyone knows what the deal is. Now, moving on to the next part of this video, he talks about the Dillian Whyte glove situation. Now, for me, bearing in mind, we don't know much about this, the whole PED situation, no one knows anything. And that's what's so frustrating. Hearn keep coming out saying, oh yeah, there's loads of inaccuracies and whatnot. Tell us what they are. Stop banging on about, oh, there's loads of inaccuracies and there's loads of lies. Tell us then. What do you want us to do? I don't understand. You're having a go at people for speculating. Well, give us something to ride on. I said that myself. Listen, you man who follow the channel, you know that I've been riding Dillian Whyte hard these last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks. Riding him hard, backing him hard. With a capital H. Backing him. 100% Rago. On them ones there, riding him, yeah? With him. But when people ride with you, you've got to give them The same as AJ, actually. You know how much I love AJ. And what do you know? When AJ was being moist and talking about, oh yeah, Fury and Wilder, when AJ was refusing to call out Fury and Wilder, what did I say? I said, come on, man, give us something to back you with. And it's the same with Dillian. If you want your supporters to be able to back you, it's no good sending Eddie Hearn out. It's no good sending the silver-tongued devil out to do your bidding. Talking about, oh yeah, there's loads of stuff, but I can't say it. There's no good saying, you might as well tell Hearn to shut up. Hearn, don't say anything. I'd rather Hearn have said that. Hearn keeps gassing us all up, saying, oh yeah, Dillian's going to say this, Dillian's going to clear it all up. That gets everyone anticipating. But what I'm saying is, if you want your boys to back you, or if you want your people to back you, I just don't believe lawyers can do that for you, personally speaking. But I'm not a trained lawyer. Maybe the lawyers will be able to turn public opinion. I find it hard to believe. Winning a case in court, I guess you could argue, well, if it's public, if you win a case publicly in court, then yeah, you might be right. But if it's all closed hearings, it's not going to help no one, in my opinion. Because you got to remember, Dillian might be thinking now, oh well, Fury managed to pull it off. The difference is, Fury went away for 3 years and made loads of mental health headlines for 3 years. Remember that. That's what's happened. Let's get it straight. If Fury had stayed around in 2015, 2016, that was when the momentum was just getting going about him being a cheat. The whole nanandrolone, whatever it was, whatever that substance Fury took, nanandrolone, whatever it was. Yeah, everyone was starting to say, oh, you're cheating, you're cheating. That's why some people speculate, that's why he ran away, because the heat was on him. He was getting called a PED cheat. So he went away for 3 years, talked about mental health, and came back and everyone forgot about it. Dillian Whyte's in the thick of it, he's in his career now. There's going to be nowhere for him to run. And people will remember this silence. All your fans have been left out pissing in the wind, unfortunately. And I got to admit, I was one of them to an extent. But anyway, as I was saying, the PED thing is one thing. This glove situation is just as precarious. I've got to be honest. And Lennox Lewis actually said some pretty juicy information. He took a different opinion. My opinion is, once again, I'm not sure either way. Eddie Hearn, I think Dillian Whyte's side of things, they've been caught in a few lies. I exposed it myself. Initially, the whole narrative was, oh yeah, Dillian's gloves. Do you know what I mean? Apparently the top of the bill's gloves, both pairs of the top. Remember, when a fighter chooses gloves, you get 2 pairs. So apparently both of Dillian Whyte's gloves got handed to undercard fighters. That was the first story. I thought, okay, it's a massive stretch, but okay. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure the board or your team look after the gloves. I'm pretty sure it's the board, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure fighters choose their gloves, and then them gloves are handed to the board to look after. Otherwise, that's to obviously prevent manipulation of them, I believe. But either way, even if it's your team that looks after them and not the board, well, if it's your team, how did your team end up giving your gloves to someone else? Bearing in mind, Dillian Whyte is at the O2, and in the O2 change rooms, Dillian Whyte has the biggest room. He doesn't share room. It's not an undercard fighter where there's 20 man in a room. Dillian Whyte is the only guy in his room. So how did his gloves disappear? But anyway, all right, fine. Yep, Dillian Whyte's gloves pulled a Houdini, but then Eddie Hearn comes out and says, "Oh well, no, it wasn't the fact that someone took his gloves. It was the fact that Dillian Whyte's thumb didn't fit." Either way, man, it's all just dodgy. And okay, if your thumb didn't fit, why did you not let Rivas test the gloves out? That's the question. I think that's a fair question to be asked. Rivas should have been allowed to test the gloves out, but he wasn't. But anyway, to Lennox Lewis's point now, Lennox, a la hater Lewis, says that essentially what's gone on there with Dillian Whyte is a pretty standard industry practice with a standard industry skullduggery. He says that big money promoters do things to give their fighters edges. Now, you know me, I love Eddie Hearn, but I'm not. Listen, the way the story's sounding, it don't sound good. That's for sure. When the truth, there's only in life, there's only ever one truth. There's only ever one fact. It either did or it didn't happen. But when you've got Dillian Whyte saying one true story and Eddie Hearn saying another true story, it's just weird, man. Which is it? And what I don't understand is, I think this day and age, a lot of people, it's okay not to know. Eddie, if you're not sure what happened, because you was sitting at ringside, say, I wasn't there. Don't make stuff up, or it just doesn't look good. Do you know, does that make sense? Say, you know what, I wasn't there. Ask someone who was there. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. It's better to not know than to make out you're Jack the lad knows everything, and then you're just confusing everyone and making it sound dodgy. But as I was saying, Lennox Lewis says, as you heard him there, that essentially it's corruption. He's saying that big time promoters, aka in this case it'll be Eddie, has been doing that to get his fighter an edge. Now what would he be doing? Because Lennox Lewis cuts himself off there and says, I'm not going to get into any more, essentially implying that he doesn't want to get himself into any libel. But what he was implying there, in my opinion, was that as if Eddie, or not Eddie, but as if a promoter would try to, like, give their fighter an edge. But how would he have got an edge through the gloves? Well, he'd get an edge through the gloves by loading them, by putting stuff in their gloves and whatnot. But I don't know about that. I don't know about that, man. But who knows? I'm not. This day and age, I'm not sure what's what anymore. There's so much. Loads of people in the comment sections have talked about, oh yeah, boxing's corrupt. And I've got to be honest, I've been living in the clouds for a while. I like to go on facts. It's same when people say about, Dillian Whyte was laughing and joking about AJ being on PEDs and being on TUEs. He had a whale of a time with it, but I like to go with facts. Bring me some proof, and I'll ride with it. At the moment, the PED and the glove situation, there's half truths all over the place. So I'm really confused now. It's either, for me, I almost feel like, have I been looking at a complete mirage all this time? Is there massive corruption going on? As an example, if someone's gloves were loaded, if someone was taking some substances, is it a complete? You know what them people are like? People are being conspiracy theorists saying, "Oh yeah, boxing's and all sports are full of drugs." Is it? I don't know anymore. I really don't. It feels like a massive. Yeah, I really don't know. Especially when you consider that allegedly, when Dillian failed, he brought in some supporting information which got him off. Now, what could that information be? Well, people have alleged it could be a TUE, and that then makes me think. Wait a minute. That would make sense in a way, because Dillian Whyte's been the one talking about AJ having TUEs. Now, how would he know so much about TUEs? Well, he would know if he was using them himself. And besides, if Dillian Whyte did, I'm speculating now, if Dillian Whyte did have a positive test on the 17th, in reality, and this is the other thing, this is what frustrates me about people, these YouTubers who interview Eddie. Eddie keeps saying, "Oh, tell me how they cleared him." Then the question should be, Eddie, if he did fail on the 17th, which you've admitted, tell me what information could have speculated. What information could he have provided to get you out of a positive test? I didn't know there was any information. Honestly, I didn't. What supporting documents can you provide to get you out of that? I just don't get it how everyone's accepting it. The problem is, in my opinion, the problem that the public are dealing with is not the fact that he got cleared. We understand he got cleared by the BBBOC and UCAD. My problem is how did he get cleared? How? What process? What is this magical process which can? Well, what are these magical papers which can take a positive test on the 17th and clear it on the 19th? What is that? What supporting documents do you bring in for that? I'm not sure. Anyway, Lennox Lewis is added to the controversy, in my opinion. On both parts, he talks about it. He talks about very controversial and corrupt things going on. But let's see how it plays out. Lennox Lewis is definitely on the negative side on both parts of it, the glove and the PED's parts. But let's see anyway.